sugar sweet. You got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar. All I want is satisfaction. Make a move, baby, you got nothing to lose. Give me that, give me that, give me that good reaction. Gonna make it right, little like an offer I can't refuse. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe, you're like a centerfold. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar Ooh, that sugar Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Ooh, that sugar, just my kind of heat. Ooh, that sugar, sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Ooh, that sugar. Ooh, that sugar sweet, you got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion, just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat, testify the motion, loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. got what I need. Sipping on the potion, all that good emotion. Just my kind of heat. Keep it on repeat. Destined by the motion. Loving this devotion. Live it up, live it up, live it up, sweet emotion. Every time, every night, you and I on a roll. Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up where I'm going. Stay on the fly just in time, know the right way to go. I'm on the road, it's my time, taking control of my life. I want to run the red lights, I've got to run this show. You always take me so high, you always make the highlights. I love the way we vibe.
Morning, morning, folks. Hope you guys are well. Happy Thursday. Approaching the end of the week. And let's get into the market, shall we? So before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about something I watched this morning, which I think was obviously not related to trading, but it was really interesting. So I watched this from Lad Bible this morning, which was the interview with two gamblers. So if you don't know, if you're from the UK, you probably know who Paul Merson is. You might know who this guy is. I think he's a streamer or someone. I don't really know who he was. But I know who Paul Merson was, and I knew that he was, he came out and said he was a gambling addict, etc. But if you watch this, what's really interesting is there's so many similarities between what he was talking about and kind of during that gambling phase of your trading career, right? So I remember back, years ago when I was in this phase, and what he said was so kind of pertinent of what I was doing in the markets. And I'd lose a trade, I'd lose my head, and I'd get that revenge trading in. And essentially what I was doing was gambling, and all the kind of repercussions, the problems you face with your family, relationships, etc., that he was talking about. It was so relatable to that period for me in my trading career. So I think it's a really kind of good watch, and I guarantee you a lot of you will find some resonation between what these two guys are saying, between what they went through, what they were. Obviously there is slight differences between gambling and trading. Obviously there's different industries, there's morning silver, different there is differences, but what he was saying was certainly like so relatable during that period. And I think it was a period about 8 months for me. And, when I lost a lot of money, when I was, emotionally certainly unstable from losing and over trading and revenge trading and, keeping all that stuff in. Nobody really knew. And then it came out, drinking too much, anger, and people were like, why is he angry? And, it's really funny. And I think it's although it's nothing to do with trading, what they talk about is so pertinent to a stage that I think most traders go into, basically about what not to do. And what it kind of helped me with is, obviously yesterday I had a trade in oil, right? And oil, I was up around 2-3R, and on news, we got stopped out of break even. So, back in the day, I remember how frustrated. Oh, here, this is oil. So this was the news events. We were doing very well, 2-3R down here, and news. Then we obviously got stopped out on. And back in the day, I would have been really, really annoyed about that. And don't get me wrong. Yesterday, I was a little bit like, oh God, a little bit frustrated, but only for a period of 20 minutes. And then I was kind of like, okay, on to the next one now. So, and this is also a good thing about keeping a trading diary, is that emotional progression that you get as time goes on when these instances occur, that it becomes a lot easier to deal with. I wake up and I didn't even think about the trade until I got into the charts this morning and saw it again. I thought, okay. But it's not something that affects me emotionally anymore, and certainly not to any kind of extent. So, it's these little things, even though, they're talking about it, kind of help me and put me back into, the years of learning. Because sometimes as you go on in the years of being profitable or consistent, you kind of sometimes forget a little bit about where you came from. So, it makes you feel a little, even though it's a break-even trade. Firstly, it's not a losing trade; it's a break-even trade. But I was up 2-3 hour, so I could sit down and say, "Oh God, what? That's so frustrating. I was up, and then within an hour, after waiting about 2 days for it to get down and still looking very nice, we got stopped out at break-even." But you kind of just, with time and experience, you get to learn how to deal with it properly and just go, okay, let's go on to the next one. That wasn't the biggest trade. That wasn't the big trade that I'm going to get this year. It might come in the next one. It might come in the next one. So, I think I would recommend looking at this, Lad Bible TV, Paul Merson. Have a watch of it, and I guarantee you a lot of you will see some similarities. If you're going through something like that right now, understand that is gambling. It's not trading, which is why... you see stuff online about people, you're a gambler, you're not a trader. This is exactly why, people say that, because gambling is never ever going to end well. And real trading is consistently disciplined, patience, emotional control, dealing with things like this, because this is the market. This is what is going to happen time and time again. Yeah, okay, it's not always going to happen. I think commodities obviously move slightly different. But it's dealing with that and moving on with a positive attitude and just continuing and continuing and continuing. Now, what is good to do, and what I have done, is within this, so I'm obviously just starting this again from the trader, I believe the trader that I am now, because I want to learn how to improve on myself now rather than, years and years before, is, making a note of what happened. So I've had two shorts in UK oil recently. First was on the 26th of May here, which ended up basically break even. Remember, this is a large account, so these numbers are slightly, if my stop is slightly moved, it's quite a decent bit of money. And this one here was yesterday, where, again, basically these two were break even. But making a note of it. So I've gone through here my TJS, second time stopped out of oil and news, keep a note for commodities. So, as I go on and maybe, again, continue my trading with commodities, if this continues to happen, very similar to GJ, where if I get a shift in momentum, I'm out. Maybe this is something that I do with commodities. So yeah, very interesting watch this morning. Help me, so maybe it would help you. Right, let's get into the market. So news today, happy Eid to anybody who is celebrating, by the way. It's Eid here, which is quite nice because the roads are all very clear. Nobody is here, and I'm playing golf this afternoon, which is lovely. But we have, is that right? Powell speaking right now? No. That doesn't seem right. Or maybe end of the... Powell speaking right now. I've not seen that before. Is that right? Must be. Sorry, I've never seen him speaking at this time in UAE. So he's speaking right now, so that could be affecting of the markets. Anyway, so we've got that then. We've got some CPI, some inflationary data out the Euro at 4, which will be important, some GDP, jobless, and pending home sales coming out of the US later on. Obviously, just be aware of that. Tomorrow, on Friday, I think this will be really interesting. The core PCE coming out at 4:30. One of the very few inflationary measures that we're getting before the next rate decision. I haven't seen, obviously, if he's speaking now, what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, I've literally never seen that. I don't know if that's right. That can't be right. It can't be right. It's the end of the Asian session. Can't be right. But maybe it is. Powell's speech. Maybe it has to be a mistake. It's probably 9:30 a.m. Yeah, it can't be right. Yeah. No. Sleep talking, yeah. Copy mistake. Anyway, what was he saying? Actually, I haven't actually seen. Not ruling out back-to-back rate hikes. I mean, he said that during his speech as well, right, last time. So this is why I think the core PCE tomorrow will be really interesting. You know, I know the market is expecting another quarter-point hike, but I don't know. I just have a hunch in my head that they're gonna pause rates, but let's see. So that's what's coming out today. Be aware for that if you are trading. But that has to be wrong. Sleep talking, yeah. Right, let's get into the market, shall we? S&P today, not a massive day yesterday, but, you know, still a slightly bullish day. Still like where it is. Do we wait for that core PCE? I know there's data out today, but from a technical perspective, nothing really has changed for me as from yesterday. I'm still looking at positivity. I'm still expecting the stock market to push. Just because we've had a day or a relatively nothing day, let's say, like that yesterday, it doesn't change my bias. So stock market bias is still up. Nothing much to say on that. S&P looks all right from a 4-hour perspective as well. You know, if we can get a push through this area, I did look at it this morning and say, well, was that a trade? But it was over Asia, so I didn't see it at that point in time. Anyway, maybe. Probably not something I would have taken, possibly better for a breakout retest. With price action looking like it is, I'm not sure whether we get it. Maybe we do, maybe we do. Maybe if we just do a bit of nothing and then you get something like this, it could be a breakout retest. I would certainly like it. The higher time frames are there. But I just, you know, whenever we get a break, I prefer a little bit more of extended break than what we've got. But if we do get our 5 bars, my minimum is 5. Depending, I don't think we get the 20 period catch up there. I just don't think it comes. But either way, what I'm saying is if we can get a breakthrough here, it looks pretty good. So S&P bias for me is up. If it does come down, okay, fine. But my bias is certainly that it continues to the upside because that's what the technicals are telling me. So S&P bias is long. And dollar again. Dollar is a tough one right now. So momentum yesterday, I wasn't confident in either way, and to be honest, I'm not massively confident either way. Bias for me now I mean, it does look relatively long, right? From a 4-hour perspective, we're up around that 200, but we're approaching this area again. So are we going to fail? Around here, we've got double resistance in the form of that dynamic resistance, and you know, from that 200 MA, and we've got this area that we're possibly testing again. So I have to say, I don't like where the dollar is. I don't like this price action. I can't really figure it out right now. I think the best course of looking we had a slight rejection here from the 4-hour is let's see how it reacts around this area. If we push on. Okay, bias may have to slightly change. You've got this as well. Bias may have to slightly change. However, I still don't like. I mean, if the Fed's talking about hikes, you'd expect the dollar to gain some strength on account of that. Maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe we're getting some dollar pressure with Powell coming out saying, you know, don't discount back-to-back hikes. Well, which I presume it is. But I don't like where it is. I don't like where it is. So let's see how it reacts roughly around the area it is now, possibly on London Open, and then grab some direction from there. I don't want to give a bias. Yeah, okay, it looks strong to the upside. I don't like the daily as much for a corrective back down. But again, as I was talking here, I'm still wary of how far this goes. So, you know, would it be at this point where this is far enough? You know, are we going to get selling pressure to come here? You'd maybe expect quite a bit of selling pressure to come here, but how far is that selling pressure going to go? You know, if we take this as our potential ABC pullback, we're looking at then breaks a B wave, which then I would like if indeed it gets there. So let's see where it goes. Right now, I'll sit myself on the fence and wait for the market to tell me what it wants to do, essentially. DXY is ready to go down now, I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah, my bias is down. I just need a little bit more confirmation. We've not quite got that, but I like the idea of dollar shorts. I do. Maybe it's because I like where the S&P is, and we've seen that inverted relationship between the S&P and the dollar recently. And with the S&P looking okay, doesn't have to move up, but looking okay, you'd expect some dollar weakness on a result of that. I do think I do think the PCE coming out tomorrow will be really interesting, because Powell did say in his meeting, right, it's going to be a live meeting. So if tomorrow, let's say we come in at 0.3, what's the market going to think then? Are we then gonna massively increase our expectation of a pause? Maybe. If we come in as forecasted, then there's the expectations of a 25-point hike, increase. I don't know yet. Let's wait and see. So tomorrow will be interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna sit myself on the fence with the dollar, and let's see how it works and how it reacts to roughly the area it is at now. Okay, setups today. Oil is still there from a daily perspective. So a daily perspective, we're still getting this squeeze. You look at that daily, you think, well, nothing majorly happened yesterday because we had a good move down that was pushed up on that news. But we still have, something here, maybe something like this that can continue with that squeeze to get us into a break to the downside. I don't know whether I'm married to this position of oil shorts, but it's something that I want to continue to look at, because if you do get an aggressive entry here and then indeed it does go down, I don't want to take two positions that have stopped me out of break even and then miss the third one, because the analysis is still the same. So oil is still there. I would actually prefer it to accumulate rather than come up. So I'd actually prefer this. So for here, just a little bit of accumulation there before a break to the downside would be quite nice on oil, but obviously that's going to take a few days to set up. So let's see how that continues. I don't mind it still. The 4 hour is kind of gone, and it was looking great. You have to say it was looking great, and I believe fundamentally the news should have dictated a drop in oil, right, with crude oils beating expectations. Which is why I don't like news. I mean, look here. If the increase in crude oil inventories is more than expected, it implies weaker demand is bearish for crude prices, right? So, no. Is that right? No. I'm getting mixed up there. Anyway, whatever. It's pushed on, and yeah, as I said, without this, let's say we take all this away, it was really looking quite nice. Because we were down here, and if we could get a bit there to break through, but anyway, it's not happened, so there's nothing I can do about it. And we move on. One thing I do really like, I'll go into Ethereum second, but I like this where the Dow Jones is, right? So from a 4 hour perspective, it's getting close to a potential order here. Right, so we've got very similar to the S&P, but we've not broken through. So it's a little bit cleaner where we're getting our cup with handle here. Morning star created around that 20, and we're just pulling back slightly. So this order is actually valid. The order is actually valid, but I'll go into that in a second. But what also is really nice is this on the weekly. I mean, look at that. That's really nice from a weekly perspective. Yeah, okay, we had not the best of weeks last week, but if we get a push this week, i.e. we finish something like here, again, this is valid for me for a breakout order above the highs here. And remember, from a weekly perspective, which in my new trade management, I'll go down to the 4 hour for my latest anchor for a breakthrough. Now, from a 4 hour perspective, again, we've got to break through these highs before we look at taking that break. Which has got a little bit to go. So you'd expect some anchors to be made before that happens, or indeed if that happens. So from a weekly perspective, I like that, really like that. I know we've had a bearish engulfer here, but if we negate that and we have a little push, possibly on some good inflationary data, Dow Jones to the upside is I always like the idea of long in indexes. Always like the idea of onions because you've got history and everything on your side. I know we're talking very small time frames, but I've always liked the idea of that. And you may be creating your head and shoulders, cut with handle, head and shoulders. Maybe there's an opportunity for an aggressive entry here. But the reason why I'm looking at this and say, well, it's valid is because we've got our 30 to 50% digestion. If, let's say, on London, we have a break like this, right? The visualization of price action is still good, right? It's still nice because the pattern here is valid. So I'm going to be watching that. Where are we on the 30? So whereas the 4-hour stop is here, right? Breakout above here, maybe we'll be getting an anchor where our stop would be here. Yeah, let's watch that. I'm going to watch that on London Open. I like that. And what makes me like it even more is that weekly. I love where that is. This is great. Getting that, again, taking the whole perspective here. Corrective. Break out the corrective, head and shoulders, retest of that area. I mean, that looks nice. That looks really nice to me. So, Dow Jones to the upside, potential of that is obviously, good. We have had a slight pullback. Yeah, okay, a little bit more of a deeper pullback than I would have liked. However, we've, again, digested this bar by creating our evening star. So, it's back to that 20. Sorry. It's back to that 20, and we're looking to push on and create that impulse, corrective impulse. Really like that. I have to say, I really like that. So I'll watch that today. If I put an order in, I'll obviously let you guys know. But don't mind where that is. And I'll probably be watching London Open here. If we can create an anchor, again, putting that stop to roughly around that area, and continue to monitor as we go ahead. Like that, Dow Jones. Like that indeed. And finally, Ethereum. The first time I've had a crypto on my watches for quite some time. Weekly perspective, great. Love this ABC pullback. Love this break of structure as we saw kind of in Bitcoin as well, which didn't quite take. But we're getting that corrective back to that 20. And we've got our OBE coming on this weekly with a little bit of volume. So is this corrective over? And we now push on to the upside. Again, the possibility, and if I'm right, we could push on and have a nice move. So we create our V reversal on the daily here. So V reversal on the daily. Let me zoom in so you guys can see a bit better. Again, I think I need to do this a bit more. So create that V reversal on the daily, and we're just within this pullback phase. So possibility again of an aggressive entry somewhere around here, or a breakout to the upside of a push accumulation break. Remember, we go down from a daily to the 1 hour, 2 times frames below for our anchor point and our stop point. So yeah, Dow Jones and Ethereum, I really like. UK Brent, I'm not sure. Again, we've got a few more days before that potentially sets up. But I do like where this is. And if you're right, you can get on the right side. If you can get on the right side of a big move out of crypto, that's not bad. So let's see how this daily develops. Again, probably going into next week before this one. And Dow Jones, possibly in order for today if we get a bit of push from these smaller time frames on London. But really like those two. Right, and for anyone new that is joining, if you watch back to the start of the stream, but have a watch of this, Paul Merson about gambling, and tell me if you feel like there's some kind of similarities between maybe what you're going through or what you past went through in terms of your trading. But if you want me to talk about a bit more, just scroll back to the start of the stream where I do. Right, guys, anything else you want me to look at? Any questions before I go? Anything you guys are looking at today? Let me know, and I will. But if not, no worries. also see here. I mean, I don't like doing this, to be honest. I like just, you know, you can just see it. You just see it coming out of here, right? Yeah, I like that. I just really like that. I just really like that. So let's see. USD NOK. Let's have a look at. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, Silver. Oh, maybe I was looking at USD SEK, but I didn't quite put it on. Oh yeah, I was looking at this in USD SEK, but it wasn't quite a setup there for me. Anyway, USD NOK. This, I presume, right? There. Weekly's not bad. Weekly's not bad. If you get some dollar strength, that would be my worry. But that's not bad, yeah. USD NOK. Trading time frame looks not bad. I just worry about that daily. But then, you know, if you're looking bullish, you'd say, well, are we getting the point where you'd expect it to start going down, and we're not getting that. You know, are we going to see some dollar strength? B wave, correct? Yeah. Yeah, B wave. Didn't notice that actually. Hold on. Favorite types of breaks. Yeah, I love that. That's a nice setup. I just worry about the higher time frames, but that is that nice setup there. USD NOK. Nice setup. And I said there is an argument there from a weekly perspective, because I mean you could look at, you're basically on there, right? So yeah, I could see it. I could see it, mate. Don't mind the idea. Don't mind the idea. USD NOK potential longs. If obviously, I'm presuming you're waiting for a breakout retest. But yeah, don't mind. Don't mind that at all. Right, guys. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it as always. As I said, I'll let you know if I put my order in for the Dow Jones. But if not, we'll do it all again tomorrow. And let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Right, guys. Cheers. Trade safe. Peace.